I don't know, friends, does 4 trees count for an orchard? We used to have a lot more trees. We used to have a row closer to the road that had 2 cherry trees and then 2 more apple trees. And then this row used to be the middle row. And we used to have 3 trees here and then 3 more down there. And up here at this end, we still have 2 of the 3 left. 2 of the Red Delicious are left. We lost a Red Delicious. And then between the Red Delicious and that far Golden Delicious, we used to have 2 more Golden Delicious. So we had a total of 3 Red Delicious and 3 Golden Delicious. And now we're down to 2 and 1. And then let me turn it just a little bit. And then this here is a Macintosh, and we used to have 2 of them. And we used to have 2 of them and a peach tree. We used to have a peach tree. And then over by the playground there used to be a pear tree. And but we have lost most of our fruit trees either to age or to windstorms. Or one year we ended up with brown rot. It was like a super wet spring, and we got a fungus into our cherry trees. And once we get that fungus in there, you don't have much of a choice except to cut them down. I did a video on that my very first year of starting YouTube, but one of them was a really old tree anyway. So it was about time for it to come down anyway. It is my goal to replace, the trees that have disappeared over time. But like everything else, it costs money, and right now things are just a little bit tight for me and for John. And so, you know, that's just something that has to wait right now. I'm hoping by spring, maybe things will straighten out. Spring is when you want to plant them anyway. So I'm hoping maybe by spring I'll have a little extra money that I can replace those trees. Every year I say I'm going to do that. Every fall I say I'm going to replace the trees in the spring. And spring rolls around and something happens. But, you know, at least I have a goal. It may get rolled over into another year, but I do have a goal. So, all right, let's go clean up around these fruit trees. So these are the 2 apple trees I want to clean up around right now. When I mowed around them, I mowed so all the grass was shooting into one area. Kind of row swept it into one area. And so I want to rake up all the dead grass, and then I want to pick up all the bad apples so that when all these new fresh ones start falling, we can start coming out in the mornings and collecting the good ones, and they won't be as hard to sort from the bad ones that are down on the ground. So that's what I'm going to do this afternoon too, is clean up around these apple trees. I've been kind of doing a taste test every day, and yesterday they tasted like they were maybe about ready. So up till yesterday they were tasting pretty green, but I think they're starting to get ready. So we'll get up the bad ones, make room for the good ones. some poison ivy on it, so I don't really want to touch it. I'm allergic to poison ivy, terribly allergic. John can roll in it and he doesn't get it. Might be thinking, why doesn't she just leave that grass down there to catch the apples? Well, the apples drop so hard that they get buried under it, and then you have to search for them. We do leave the tall grass underneath. We let the grass grow underneath taller during harvest season, but we don't leave the piles of dead grass. Alright friends, well if you can see under the trees, I have everything mowed and raked, and there are no longer any bad apples on the ground. Anything that falls now should be good if we get them picked up right away. In fact, this one fell while I was mowing, so I'm going to give it a little taste here. Oh yeah, they are definitely ready to be picked and used. I'll definitely be using some fresh. Might make some apple pies. Might have John make some apple pies. Believe it or not, John makes really good apple pies. And then, I don't know, I'm looking at my tree and there's quite a few on there. I might be able to can some applesauce. Maybe apple butter. Apple butter takes a lot of apples, we'll see. But I think I definitely could can some applesauce and maybe some frozen apple slices. Let me show you these apples. Look, Paulo's enjoying one too. Pretty good, aren't they, Paulo? Let's show our friends how nice they look. Sorry guys, I have my yearly bronchitis. But these limbs are just loaded with them. And believe it or not, this is an off year. I'm pretty sure apple trees are biannual, so that means that every other year they have a good year, and then every other year they kind of take a break. And I'm thinking we had our good year last year. I'm thinking this is supposed to be the break year. But as you can see, I mean, we still have a lot of apples on these trees. So I'm hoping maybe I can get some canned if Pablo doesn't eat them all. They are pretty tasty, aren't they? I mean, the limbs are just bowing over with them. And these are the ones that John pruned too. This tree over here is finished. I see maybe 2 left on there. Ooh, we have 1 drop. And those are good ones. Those are Macintosh. They've really got a good taste. But like, we have 1 there. And then I think there's 1 over in here that's still hanging. Might have to get my apple picker for that one. That one looks really good. But other than that, this one has dropped all of its apples for the year. And that Golden Delicious has just never done very well. It just puts on tiny apples. They don't get very big. They've never, I don't know, just never gotten big enough to really do anything with. And I know some of you are saying, well, you probably need to prune. And believe me, we have. But I don't know. They've just never gotten really very big. In fact, this is about the biggest one. This is like the biggest size we get. It's right here. That's about the biggest size we get. And then the other ones always look like these 2. Let me see what this tastes like. Okay friends, so we're at the Golden Delicious apple tree. And this is the Golden Delicious that I just picked. And see all those spots on there? That's from a fungus called cedar apple rust. I think it's cedar apple. Might be apple cedar, but I think it's cedar apple rust. And it's a fungus that if you have cedar trees around and you have a really wet year, those cedar trees will put off fungus spores, and the fungus spores attack apple trees. That's why it's called cedar apple fungus, because that's the 2 components, well actually there's 3 components needed. A cedar tree, an apple tree, and a very wet year that causes the cedar tree to put out fungus spores. Anyway, it does make the skin of your apples look kind of blotchy. However, it does not mess up the meat. And if the skin is really bad, then I go ahead and peel mine. But I'm going to go ahead and take a bite of this one. I think it's okay. So I just want to see how they taste this year. So juicy, so sweet. Golden Delicious are actually my favorite apples because of how sweet they are. I actually have the Red Delicious still in my pocket here. So this is your Red Delicious. Let me turn around like this. Okay. So here are my 2 types of apples I'm showing you. This is my Red Delicious. This is my Golden Delicious. The Red Delicious have a very firm texture. Makes them really good for pies and applesauce. They're very sweet. The Golden Delicious have a firm texture too. To me, they're a little bit sweeter. And that's probably why I like them better. But they're really good. I just wish I could get this tree to produce more and produce a little bit bigger. I don't know if you can tell the two size differences in those or not. Now let's go show you the Macintosh. Alright. Alright, so I had to go into the potting shed to get my apple picker because I'm going to get that Macintosh. It looks like it's ready to be eaten. Alright, let me fix you guys a little bit. Okay, so this is a Macintosh. Let me get out my apples here. Alright, so here are my three kinds of apples. I have the Golden, the Red Delicious, and the Macintosh. Look how much bigger that Macintosh is than the two Delicious. They get bigger. These Macintosh will have kind of a yellow top to them. Well, this one doesn't have a whole lot of yellow, but you can kind of see. Alright, so now I'm going to take a bite of this one. I'm going to be having apples for supper, guys, because I'm going to finish these. But I'm going to go inside and peel them and slice them and maybe have them with a little bit of peanut butter. Anyhow, let's take a bite of this one. Oh my goodness. It is so good. It is so good. I said the Golden Delicious was my favorite. I don't know. The Macintosh are pretty good too. Although the Red Delicious, they make wonderful apple pies. Of course, so do the Macintosh. So do all three of them combined together. I'm in apple heaven right now. Alright, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to fix myself an apple salad. I have some fresh grapes in there. I'll put some grapes in there. Maybe some pecans. Just kind of have a fruit salad tonight. Anyway, I think this video is probably long enough. Okay guys, well I'm going to head in and have my apple salad. If I see any wildlife hanging out in the cottage garden, I might take a few clips for you, post them at the end. But for now, I'm going to call this video a wrap. So, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up so that the YouTube algorithm will know to share. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. Please share my videos. If you have any family or friends that might enjoy my lifestyle, please share my videos. I have set up a PayPal account, so if anyone has a few extra dollars so that they can contribute to my cause, 5, 10, 15, 20, that would be great. But if you don't have the money, I completely understand. So, okay, I have rambled on long enough. I'm going to go have some fruit salad. I hope you guys have a great evening, and I will talk to you later. Remember, if you want to know more about what's going on in my corner of the world, hit that subscribe button to Kim's Country Corner and check out some of my playlists. Alright, bye for now.